the Sabbath day of Yahweh, as it's written in both the Old and New Testament readings of the Bible.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh your Elohim. Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through 10.
The fourth commandment is one of the most well-known and commonly quoted commandments from the Bible used by parents and church leaders abroad. But despite its popularity, are we truly keeping the commandment? This documentary will take an in-depth look at the Sabbath day of Yahweh as it is defined, commanded, and was kept according to as it's written in both the Old and New Testament readings of the Bible. Many of us grew up spending our Sunday mornings at local churches. Many of us even complained often as children for being woken up early and forced to go to church. Many of our parents would often give us the same response: honor the Sabbath day, the fourth commandment. However, time and again, that was as far as the explanation would go. So why is the Sabbath day so really important? When we honor the Sabbath days, we are acknowledging that Yahweh is our Elohim and we are his people. The Sabbath day is one of the tangible carried out actions that signifies to Yahweh that we acknowledge him as our Elohim and we willingly choose to serve him. The prophet Ezekiel explains this precept in Ezekiel chapter 20.
I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and hallow my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you, that you may know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 19 through 20.
We show Yahweh that we are his people by keeping his commandments and honoring his Sabbath day. After creation, Yahweh himself rested on this day and then set apart the Sabbath days from all the other days of the week in the year through sanctifying it, blessing it, and hallowing it. In understanding the importance of the Sabbath, we must understand what the Sabbath is. If we look up the word Sabbath in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, we will find the following definitions for Sabbath. Definition 1a. The seventh day of the week, observed from Friday evening to Saturday evening as a day of rest and worship by Jews and some Christians. The first provided definition, Merriam-Webster's, is aligned with the biblical definition of the Sabbath day as it was given by Moses in the Ten Commandments.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh. Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through 10.
Now, if we look at the second definition of the Sabbath in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it states 1b. Sunday, observed among Christians as a day of rest and worship. In examining the second definition provided, not only is it not aligned with the definition given in the Bible, it also directly conflicts the first definition given by the Merriam-Webster's dictionary by labeling the first day of the week as a Sabbath day. The third and final definition breaks down the physical meaning of Sabbath, which is rest. The third definition further solidifies that the Sabbath day is a time of rest, but it does not define when we should rest. Again, to answer this question, we can refer to both the biblical definition given several times throughout the Bible and the primary definition given by the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, which states that the seventh day of the week is the Sabbath day. Using the biblical definition of the Sabbath and the matching definition of Merriam-Webster's dictionary, we can establish that the Sabbath day is the seventh day of the week. But what is the seventh day of the week? If we grab a normal calendar from off our walls at home, office, or even look at one on our cell phones, we can count the days of the week from the first named day of the week on the left until we reach the seventh day of the week to arrive with a factual conclusion. We see Sunday on the left as the first day of the week, and if we go down to the end of the week, we can see Saturday as the last day of the week. Counting from the left to right, we will clearly see that Saturday is the seventh day of the week. Given that so much of the Sabbath change history is documented and so easily accessible, then why are so many still keeping the Sabbath on the first day of the week, Sunday, versus the seventh day of the week, Saturday, which it was intended for? A common teaching in modern churches is that Christ rose from the dead on the first day, so that is why they worship on Sunday. However, in Acts it established that well after the birth, death, and resurrection of the Messiah, Jews still kept the Sabbath, and even Gentiles had to keep the Sabbath day in order to hear the word. If we examine the book of Acts, which chronicles the first years of the Christian church after the death of the Messiah, we will find that even the Gentile early Christians kept the Sabbath day.
And when the Jews were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. Now when the congregation was broken up, many of the Jews and religious proselytes followed Saul and Barnabas, who speaking to them persuaded them to continue in the grace of Elohim. And the next Sabbath day came almost a whole city together to hear the word of Elohim. Acts chapter 13, verses 42 through 44.
The first Christians were taught the word by the Jews. Paul, a Jew of the tribe of Benjamin, is responsible for the majority of the writings of the New Testament. Paul became the apostle to the Gentiles, and even he kept the Sabbath well after the Messiah's death and resurrection.
Now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Jews. And Saul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the Scriptures. Acts chapter 17, verses 1 through 2.
Most importantly, even the Messiah himself kept the Sabbath. The Word manifested in flesh was subject to the commandments of Yahweh as well, serving as our example of the letter of the law and the spirit of the law in perfect accordance. The Messiah led his followers by example.
And Yahshua returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee, and there went out fame of him through all the region round about. And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and, as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and stood up for to read. Luke chapter 4, verses 14 through 16.
Another common misconception taught in many Christian churches is that the disciples broke bread on Sunday, and that this somehow proved that the disciples kept the Sabbath on Sunday.
And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Saul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight. Acts chapter 20, verse 7.
The previous verse was used out of context and was merely giving a timeline of events and days. If we read earlier in Acts, it establishes the fact that the disciples broke bread often, not just on Sunday or Sabbath day.
And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart. Acts chapter 2, verse 46.
In fact, even in the prayer given unto us by Yahshua, he states, "Give us our daily bread." The bottom line is, the Sabbath day is a direct commandment from the Most High Yahweh to his people. According to the Messiah's words,
Yahshua answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. John chapter 7, verse 16.
If one calls himself a Christian, wouldn't it be logical to follow the example that Christ left?
If you love me, keep my commandments. John chapter 14, verse 15.
So if most calendars list Saturday as the 7th day of the week, and both the Bible and the Merriam-Webster's dictionary list the 7th day of the week as a Sabbath day, then how did the first day, Sunday, become the Sabbath day for churches in modern times? To answer this, we can look at documented history, which will reveal the chain of events. In 321 AD, the Emperor of Rome, Flavius Valerius Aurelius Constantinus Augustus, known by the Romans as Constantine the Great, instructed that Christians and non-Christians should be united in observing the venerable day of the sun, referencing the esoteric Eastern sun worship day of Sunday. Several years later, the Council of Laodicea, which was a regional synod of approximately 30 clerics from Asia Minor, assembled about 363 to 364 AD in Laodicea, Phrygia, and Pakitiana. The major concerns of the council involved regulating the conduct of church members. The council expressed its decrees in the form of written rules or canons. Among the 60 canons, the 29th canon decreed the outlawing of the Sabbath, seventh day of the week, Saturday, and encouraged rest on Sunday, which was determined as the Lord's Day. Now that we have established what and when the Sabbath day is, we must then establish how to keep the Sabbath day. With the Sabbath day being a hallowed day of worship for Yahweh, how does our Bible instruct us to keep the Sabbath? The Sabbath is the day of rest. We are commanded to do no servile work on the Sabbath.
Thus saith Yahweh, take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day. Neither do you any work, but hallow you the Sabbath day, as I have commanded your fathers. Yirmiah chapter 17, verses 21 through 22.
We are to do no servile work, which is work that we are paid to do. However, the Messiah established that it is lawful to do good deeds on the Sabbath.
And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days. Matthew chapter 12, verses 11 through 12.
Yahweh hallowed the Sabbath day. You are to rest and refrain from doing your own activities, even from speaking your own words. The day belongs to Yahweh, and the day should be dedicated to his works.
If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words, then shall you delight yourself in Yahweh, and I will cause you to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed you with the heritage of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it. Isaiah chapter 58, verses 13 through 14.
Often overlooked is the fact that we are to do no commerce on the Sabbath. The day of preparation is for getting in all the necessary shopping and business before the Sabbath arrives. Profaning the Sabbath brought upon many curses unto the children of Israel. In the book of Nehemiah, it goes into details on how important the commandment of the Sabbath is.
There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Yehudah and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Yehudah, and said unto them, what evil thing is this that you do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our Elohim bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet you bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should be no burden brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them, and said unto them, why lodge you all about the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came there no more on the Sabbath. Nehemiah chapter 13, verses 16 through 21.
The sixth day is the day of preparation for the Sabbath day. All business and servile work should be conducted by the preparation day, so as to not be forced to work on the Sabbath day.
And now when the even was come, because it was the preparation, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea, an honorable counselor, which also waited for the kingdom of Elohim, came and went in boldly unto Pilate, and craved the body of Yeshua. Mark chapter 15, verses 42 through 43.
Giving up your Saturday to observe the Sabbath is a sacrifice in itself. Saturday is one of the biggest shopping and leisure days of the week. Yahweh provides for his children by allowing them to collect enough of anything needed on the 6th day to cover both the 6th and 7th day. It takes faith to believe Yahweh will provide for you 7 days worth of what you will need in only 6 days.
And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. Exodus chapter 16, verse 5.
It takes tremendous faith to give up a day from work or a day to gather what is needed and relying solely on Yahweh to allow you to survive week to week without using the Sabbath day for yourself. In addition to the weekly Sabbath day, on the 7th day of the week, there were 7 other holy days, which Yahweh also made Sabbath days, regardless of what days of the week they fall on. When one of these holy days happened to fall on the 7th day Sabbath, it was called a high Sabbath, like what was mentioned right after the Messiah's death on the torture stake. The 7 Sabbath holy days are as follows: Feast of Unleavened Bread, day 1 and day 7.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. In the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. In the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. Leviticus chapter 23, verses 6 through 8.
Feast of Weeks, Pentecost.
And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall you number 50 days, and you shall offer a new meat offering unto Yahweh. Leviticus chapter 23, verses 15 through 16.
Feast of Trumpets.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. Leviticus chapter 23, verses 24 through 25.
Day of Atonement.
Also, on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. And you shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. Leviticus chapter 23, verses 27 through 28.
Feast of Tabernacles, day 1 and day 8.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto Yahweh. On the 1st day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. It is a solemn assembly, and you shall do no servile work therein. Leviticus chapter 23, verses 34 through 36.
There were times when observing the Sabbath day could get you killed by order of the law of the kings.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Yehudah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law, and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he should die. 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verses 44 through 50.
With no such laws now being in place, it is exceedingly sinful to continue profaning the Sabbath day. The Sabbath is the seventh day of the week, which is Saturday on our calendars today. We are to remain sanctified from the world in our day of rest. This is a commandment of Yahweh to be kept forever by the children of Israel in all your dwellings, no matter where you live. Remember to keep the Sabbath holy, as it is a sign between Yahweh and us that we are his people and he is our Elohim.